we read them, I'll just at least revise with you the last chapter that we had recited last time. The chapter that we recited last time. We recited last time from ayah 46 to ayah 50, around 5 verses or so. And what they have in common is all of them start with the word qul. And I've explained multiple times, and I hope this sticks with you, like for the future when you're reading the Quran. That whenever you find clusters of qul, like meaning ayat that have qul in a row, it's one of 3 things. Either it's teaching you how to have a dialogue with the opposition, like if there's someone, what the dialogue should look like. All right, it's a more of a debate way of looking at things, or. So first of all, it could be a dialogue. Dialogue meaning what you're going to project towards these people specifically, or it's going to be a debate, meaning going to be telling you how to argue with them. I mean what points you should bring up. So dialogue is different than debate. Dialogue is what the conversation should look like, which is a different thing than actually debating a point. Some of them will be debating points. Some of them will be just dialogue, what the conversation should be like. And the third thing will be is perspective. Just your general narrative, basically what you think. So qul doesn't have to be necessarily, you're not necessarily saying it to someone, you're just saying it generally. It's just this is what I think, and this is how I go by my life, and this is how everyone should go as well who think like me. This is basically, that's what qul means. So qul huwa Allahu ahad, for example, qul here and the qul a'udhu rabbil falaq, qul a'udhu rabbin nas in a row, those are just general narratives. You're not necessarily debating with the opposition, nor are you having a dialogue, nor are you having a conversation. This is just how you look at things. I mean, this is what you walk on earth saying out loud. So in Surat AlSaba, we had 2 clusters of qul. We got to see 2 types of them. We got to see dialogue at the first group of qul in a row that came in ayat from 24 to 27, and they were just a dialogue, what we tell them, what we tell the opposition, those who don't agree with us, what our conversation with them is going to look like. And that was very important because I had a number of verses and teachings that we need to hold on to. And then the last one that we read last time, or the second group of cluster of qul, that we read last time, is more of the narrative. This is as a community, this is how we look at things. This is what we walk around saying, this is how we view the world, and this is what our perspective is. So what were they? They consisted of 5 points, basically, that I explained last time. I'll review quickly. I think they're very beneficial. I think they're very, they're very deep in their meanings. For the first one, قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَعِظُكُمْ بِوَاحِدَةٍ أَن تَقُومُوا لِلَّهِ مَثْنَى وَفُرَادَى ثُمَّ تَتَفَكَّرُوا. Say that I have only one piece of advice for all, for myself, for you, for the opposition, for everyone, all human race. We have one piece of advice for everyone. This is for all. One thing, biwahid, just one thing. If you take nothing, take this. Like if you're going to take one thing, just take this from us. This is how we think what you should do. And taqoomu lillahi, for you to take a stand for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning to pause everything for a moment. Stop what you're doing. Stop just blindly going through things. Just stop, just basically going through your routines and actually take a stand for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether you do it alone or in groups, mathna wa furada, either in groups or alone. ثُمَّ تَتَفَكَّرُوا, and then do some deep thinking or some contemplation or reflection. And this is a word in the Quran that is repeated many times, tatafakkaru, for you to have contemplation or reflection or deep thought. And we're required to do it as Muslims. And this ayah is saying that our narrative to the world is that this is all we ask everyone to do. This is all we want people to do. Just one piece of advice. Just everyone, just take a stand just for the sake of Allah. Stop for a moment and think, and do it alone, do it within groups, whatever you want. Just think deeply. Why? Because what's coming next is accountability, and you want to make sure that you're on the right side of things, and that you've made your choices consciously, and that you're willing to deal with their consequences. So deep thought is what's going to make sure that happens for you. Or else you're going to come Yawm al-Qiyamah finding out that you're going to be you're accountable for everything. However, you didn't spend enough time thinking about it, and now you feel ripped off. Like, had I thought about things a bit deeply, I would have made a different choice. I probably wouldn't have said this or done that or acted in that way, but I didn't do that. I didn't take a moment and think about things. I didn't spend the time, and now it's a loss on every level. So at no point are we asked as Muslims to turn off our brains and walk. That was never the requirement. You sometimes think that what submission is. That's why these surahs from Al-Ahzab to Zumar talk about submission. Sometimes you're led to think that maybe submission is turning off your brain. Never. That's never the point. Actually, you're supposed to think deeply, coming to the conclusion of La ilaha illallah, and that the Prophet ﷺ brought the true word from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and brought the wisdom of God to you. And when you know it's the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you feel much more comfortable listening and walking the road, even if it's not fully clear to you. So this is not a matter of turning off your brain. No, it's a matter of you thinking deeply, coming to a conclusion that will allow you to sometimes have faith in things that you cannot see the direct consequences of at a certain point. We do that, we have that in science. You have faith in science. So as long as you're using the scientific method, you have faith that you'll find the cure. Even though right now it doesn't seem that there's any cure in the horizon, there's no way for you to actually do it. Meaning the actual information that we have right now is telling us it's impossible. It's never going to happen. It can't happen. But you have enough faith in science. Why? Because you trust the method. You've been studying it for so long, and you have conviction that this is the right way to do things. So you trust the method. You have faith in the method. So keep on doing it. Right? Even though it may not make sense at the time when it's happening, and it may not seem that things are ever going to get better or change, but you believe that one day it will because you trust the method. It's very similar. Once you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, once you build that belief, once you have enough deep thought and you spend enough time contemplating, you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you understand that His word is the truth, then you'll have faith in what He tells you to do. You know that His rules are the ones that are worth following, and sticking to those rules is going to make your life better, and it's going to improve the way societies function. Even if at any given moment you cannot see that effect directly for whatever reason, because you're maybe living in a different time. Maybe you were just born in a place in a time where you cannot see those consequences or those effects of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. Then if you believe in Him properly, if you've done enough contemplation, then you'll be able to follow it and believe that it will happen. And that is just how we're supposed to go by Islam. You're not supposed to build your faith on small details. That the number 7 is repeated so many times in each ayah that must mean it's the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or something like that. It's not something like some simple thing that you were told at some point, and this is why you believe. And then you find out, oh my God, the numbers don't add up anymore, and now somehow your faith is weaker. That's crazy. Why would you build your faith on anything like that? That's not how you build your faith. You build your faith by taking a stand for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and contemplating and having deep thought and don't do it alone, do it in groups if you need to, until you come to conviction of La ilaha illallah, and then that will never be shirk. It's not going to be, you're not going to lose it anymore. Why? Because you're going to build it on your observation of the universe. You're going to build it on your observation of life, on your observation of history, on your observation of yourself and your own experience and your own story in this life. These 4 things are constants in the universe. They don't change. Your past is your past. It won't change. And if you build your iman on them, then your iman will stick. And the only time these things are going to change is Yawm al-Qiyamah. And He told you about it before it happened. The day will come where everything will fall to pieces, and He told you exactly how it's going to happen, so that you're not going to lose your faith then either. But if you build your iman on a story or a dua that you made once and it worked out, then all it needs for you to lose your iman is for you to make a dua and not work out, and then we're done. And that's not iman. That's not iman. قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَعِظُكُمْ بِوَاحِدَةٍ. It's just one thing, one piece of advice for all. تَقُومُ لِلَّهِ مَثْنَى وَفُرَادَى ثُمَّ تَتَفَكَّرُوا. Just think, take a stand, stop and pause what you're doing, and think, contemplate deeply, deep thoughts, nothing superficial, nothing simple. No, actually think, build your rationale. And if you do that, then you will come to the conclusion, مَا بِصَاحِبِكُم مِّن جِنَّةٍ. That's your conclusion. You'll come to the conclusion that the Prophet ﷺ was not insane and was not lying, and that what he was telling you was the truth, and he was warning you of a difficult punishment to come, and then you'll start preparing yourself. So that's the first narrative that we have. Contemplation. Everyone should think and prepare for consequences, because you're accountable, and you're accountable alone. Number 2, قُلْ مَا سَأَلْتُكُم مِّنْ أَجْرٍ فَهُوَ لَكُمْ إِنْ أَجْرِيَ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ. We're here to serve. We're not here to take your money. We don't want money. We're here to serve. What we tell you, what we offer you as Muslims, our narrative is we serve. We serve. We tell you the word of Allah. We teach. We help. We're a culture of service, not a culture of consumerism or of deals or of finance. We're not here to ask you for your wealth. We don't want your money. We want to help you. We want to offer something that is worthy of offering. And this is how Muslims succeeded in the many centuries before, and this is why they don't succeed today, because we don't do that anymore. Everything it's tit for tat every time, and it's always we build our masajid like businesses. Like we function our masajid like businesses. How are you going to win? If your masjid is not service, then what is service? Where are you serving? How do you serve if the bait of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is no longer based on service, and everything has to be money has to be involved in every single time you sneeze? If you need to walk into the masjid, you have to pay somehow. Somehow they have to make money off you. Why? It's not a business. It's a very important concept that needs to continue, the concept of service. Third one, our narrative of God, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that our Lord, يَقْذِفُ بِالْحَقِّ, He projects only the truth, and He knows all that is unseen. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way we see Him is that He does not give us rulings that are false. He does not tell us anything that is benefitless, or He does not command us of anything that is harmful. No. يَقْذِفُ بِالْحَقِّ, He only projects the truth. Only righteousness comes from Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He knows all the unseen. So His righteousness is the true righteousness, because it has already incorporated in it the knowledge of the things that you don't know about. Because you could be saying the right thing, but because you don't know what's going to happen next, what you're saying that is right now may not turn out right. And we've seen that many times in life, where they're saying something right, everyone believes that what this person is saying is right, and then later on a piece of information comes forward, and what they said, when you look in retrospective, looks insane. It makes no sense at all. But they didn't have the information then. A lot of the cultural problems that we have with the past is based on that. The way we condemn the past, by the way, horribly, in a very rude way, as modern people. We condemn those who lived before us. We condemn everything that they did, and that's very arrogant, and it shows a lot of ignorance, and it does not allow us to actually see the blind spots of our own time. Every era, every generation had blind spots, because the information that was provided to them at the time, what they were able to deal with at the time, was this is what they had. They dealt with what they had. They were not evil in nature. It's not like the past generation were evil, and now we somehow came here and we're all khayrin, we all have khayrun. That makes no. If they were evil, then we're just the descendants of a bunch of evil people, and then we're just as evil as they are. But that's not how it is. Even when we talk about very, very difficult and sticky issues, even when we talk about issues like slavery, of course it's wrong. But for you to look at the past and say that those who actually had it within them and did not fight it with every moment and to say that and condemn a complete race of people, actually condemn the whole world because it was a part of the world system, doesn't make any sense. That's not how we're supposed to look at things. Yes, women weren't treated properly for until now. It's been 100,000 of years. But if you were to condemn the human race forever, means you'll never understand why that happened. You won't be able to learn from it, and you won't be able to actually build any progress today. So don't condemn. You're not alamul ghuyub. You don't know what's happening. Let me tell you this: 500 years from now, people in the future will condemn us. Why? Because we drive cars. Because we drove cars. They'll say, "What bunch of idiots." They fried the ozone layer driving cars, and now we have to live. Now we have no more ice in the North Pole or something, whatever. Or New York is under. I'm not sure that's a horrible thing anyway, but whatever. They'll say something. Look, they used to drive cars. Are you evil? Am I evil for doing it? I don't know. I don't think we're evil. Could be wrong, mistaken. It may have a blind spot. Maybe do things wrong at this moment, which is fine, because that's how life is. You always have blind spots. I'm not defending mistakes of the past or the present, but I think the way we look at it has to have some level of adab and some level of reality in it. Understanding that people deal with their circumstances and their reality with whatever information they have at the time, and whatever mentality is built at the time. You can't ask them to be more than because you can't ask yourself to be more than that either. Maybe you should try and ask yourself to be more, but it's hard, because those who are who can think outside of the box of their reality are the true innovators of their time. People who can actually break loose from the chains of culture and society and current mentalities. But for the majority of people, why? Because they're not alamul ghuyub like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. They don't know the unseen. They don't know the unknown. There's a lot of information that they're missing. I think it's unworthy. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He projects the truth. He knows the unseen. So He tells you is right is right. You don't need to question it. You don't need to wonder, well, maybe it doesn't work, or maybe will it work later? Well, of course it will. Of course it will. Fourth point. قُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَمَا يُبْدِئُ الْبَاطِلُ وَمَا يُعِيدُ. This is our constant. What is our constant? What is our value that never changes? It's haqq, righteousness. This is the constant in our universe. Everything else is a variable. Al-Batil, which is everything besides Haqq, is variable, it changes. La yubdi wa la yu'id, doesn't have the effect, it's not strong, and it's not rooted, and it doesn't have the ability to start any khair or end it or repeat it. It is useless and worthless, and the only constant value in the universe is Haqq. Haqq is here and will always be here. And it's just about us finding it and holding on to it and defending it. And this is our constant as Muslims. This is what we have in our scales. It's always haqq. We always put it there. We always measure everything to haqq. And if it doesn't measure up with haqq, then we get rid of it. As simply and as easy as that. It's easier said than done. But that is our constant as Muslims. This is our narrative. Like these ayat, if you memorize them and think about them and contemplate upon them enough, this is your narrative as a Muslim. It's a very beautiful one. From a social perspective, it's very beautiful. It's very, very deep. It's something you can carry. And if it was to be spread communally, I can only see khair coming from it. The final point is one of spiritualism, of humility and of humbleness. قُلْ إِن ضَلَلْتُ فَإِنَّمَا أَضِلُّ عَلَى نَفْسِي وَإِنْ اهْتَدَيْتُ فَبِمَا يُوحِي إِلَيَّ رَبِّي. See, if I make a mistake, then I did it because of myself, and it will only harm myself. This is me. This is my mistake and my problem. I need to fix it. But if I do find guidance, I do something right, then it's because of the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not because of what I did. I'm not the hero here. I'm not the center of the universe that fixed everything. No, no. If I do something right, it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessing. He guided me and I was able to do it. When I make a mistake, I look back at myself, I must have done something wrong. Just have some humbleness when you're dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You do that, He sees that humbleness in your heart and He will elevate your status in dunya and akhirah. It means to see that level of humility inside of you, where you're more fixated on fixing your mistakes and improving your ways and than celebrating your successes, and celebrating how well you did something or how awesome you are. Let Him do that for you subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُمْ هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنِ اتَّقَى. He knows who's done best. He'll take care of it. And the celebration will be with Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. He'll offer you that. إِنَّهُ سَمِيعٌ قَرِيبٌ. Indeed, He is the one who hears all and He is the closest to all. Jalla Jalalullah. Okay, that was the narrative, the 5 quls that we had in a row that brought forward a narrative that I think is very worthy. You can break it down if you like into different categories and look at it, but I just want to give you a basic meaning. Think about it and contemplate upon it, and you'll find it very, very interesting to do so. The final part, the finale of Surat AlSaba is a beautiful one. I want to start immediately by reciting, and then we'll dive into the meaning of it, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولو ترى إذ فزعوا فلا فوت. So we start from ayah 51. Sorry, I should have. So starting from ayah 51. We'll try that again. ولو ترى إذ فزعوا فلا فوت وأخذوا من مكان قريب. ولو ترى إذ فزعوا فلا فوت وأخذوا من مكان قريب. ولو ترى, and only if you could see. That's what this. That's actually the actual meaning of it in English. So only, ya Muhammad, if you could see. If you could see the day, إِذْ فَزِعُوا. فَزِعُوا, الْفَزَع is for you to be, for you to wake up scared. That's what faza. Or for you to be unaware of something, and then made suddenly aware of it, and that caused you to panic for a moment, for you to go into panic. So that's basically what faza means. So faza means either you're sleeping and you wake up in panic, or you're just maybe not aware of something, and then you're made aware of it, and you're startled, and this causes you fear and panic. So only if you could see, ya Muhammad, وَلَوْ تَرَى, or when the time comes and you see, إِذْ فَزِعُوا, when they wake up startled and scared and in fear. This is referring obviously to the moment of resurrection, when we all come out. Yes, we come out in fear. So most of us, or many people, didn't really necessarily believe in it. A lot of people had doubt in it, and those who didn't have doubt in it didn't know how it was going to happen. So no matter what status you had towards it, when you finally wake up, it's going to be a moment you'll never forget. It'll be one of those scary, difficult, hard moments to deal with. They get up. You don't wake up peacefully. You wake up in panic, because now you realize that you woke up this time. It's like you slept almost every day of your life, and you woke up. Every time you woke up, you had a chance to turn the ship around and do right by everything and everyone. But this time you wake up and you don't have that chance anymore. The malaika who used to be writing things have closed their books and long gone. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is no longer interested in your deeds. You can do and say whatever you want. He doesn't care anymore. Subhanallah, Jalla Jalalullah. It's a hard thing to understand, but it's important that we think about it. That at that point it doesn't matter. He's not interested anymore. You can make dua as much as you want. You can speak to him. He's not listening. He's no longer listening to you. He's aware of it, but doesn't care. In dunya, all you have to do is just put your hands up and call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He's listening. And He is qareeb, and He is there, and He will respond to you, and He's a part, you can make Him a part of your every moment. But Yawm al-Qiyamah, we wake up, so part of the panic and the startle and the fear is that we kind of realize, oh my gosh, nothing we do matters anymore. Our stories, the end has already been stamped in our story. We can't really change any part of it. We can't fix it. We can't repent. You understand how severe that is? This is the only door that never closed, by the way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's a hadith in Muslim Imam Ahmad and Al-Hakim, بسند الحسن, it's acceptable. authenticity for the hadith, where the hadith is similar to many other hadith, but it has an extra word in it, where the Prophet ﷺ says, خَلَقَ اللَّهُ بَابًا ثُمَّ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And he started to go on in the known hadith of him creating the world and the heavens and the cosmos. But before he said, Allah subhanahu created a door. So the Sahaba waited for him to finish it. Rasulullah, what door? What's the door? Hold on, just rewind, and what's the door? فَقَالَ بَابُ التَّوْبَةِ خَلَقَهُ ثم فتحه ولا يغلقه حتى تطلع الشمس من مغربه. He created the door. It's a figurative door, the door of tawbah, of repentance, and he opened it, and it will stay. It was created and opened before you were created. So before you came along and sinned, the door was created and it was opened, and it will stay opened until the sun comes up from the west. It'll stay open. So why? So that you know that the tawbah was ready for you before you even came along. You don't have to, put in an application and wait for it. No, it's already there. Just turn back and repent, and He'll accept you, and the sin will be erased, and your repentance will be accepted, and you can start off fresh. Yawm al-Qiyamah, when you wake up, the part of the faza', is that this is not possible anymore. So whatever you didn't repent from, it's permanent. Right now, there's a lot of sins in the past, but they're not permanent. The potential of them to be erased is there every moment. You can erase them all. You can get rid of all of them. You can make sure that none of them even exist. Some of them can be pardoned fully, meaning taken out of the books, out of the records, like they never happened. But when you wake up Yawm al-Qiyamah, if you have not repented prior to that moment, then whatever you didn't repent from is going to be there permanently. It's a part of your record, never go away. Even if He forgives it, it'll still be there. It'll be forgiven after. Forgiveness after you're resurrected is different than forgiveness before you are. So if you made done a sin right now, and you asked Allah for forgiveness and He forgave it, it's already stamped forgiven. That's different than Yawm al-Qiyamah, waking up, it's not forgiven. You have to go the process of hisab to actually get it forgiven. It's a different thing. It's much more costly. It's much more expensive, much more difficult, much more scary. That's why people are looking for hasanat Yawm al-Qiyamah, and that's why people are running away from each other. Because you need something. I need to pay for this sin. I don't have enough hasanat. I can't invest all these hasanat for that one sin, because there's like so many other later, and I don't know if I have enough to actually make myself to Jannah. I need something. Do you have, can you spare a couple of hasanat? Like a deed, give me a deed. Now it's not going to work, but this is our human mind. You're thinking, I can probably borrow. It's just an account. I can just transfer me some hasanat to my account, and that way we can move forward. It doesn't work like that. It's not going to happen. But that's how we think. We think that we can get it. فَزِعُوا فَلَا فَوْتْ. No one is missed. فَاتَهُ الْقِطَارَ, for example, the train, he missed the train. فَاتَهُ. فَلَا فَوْتْ means no one was missed. No one was left behind. No one was forgotten. No one fell off the records and somehow this guy didn't get resurrected or he wasn't a part. Everyone, فَلَا فَوْتْ. Everyone will get up. Everyone is going to be there. Everyone. Not one person will be left. Everyone with their stories and with their lives and with their past and their future. فَلَا فَوْتْ. وَأُخِذُوا مِن مَكَانٍ قَرِيبٍ. And they were taken for judgment. وَأُخِذُوا. They were taken for judgment. مِن مَكَانٍ قَرِيبٍ. From a close place. You're going to see the word, look at the end of these 4 verses in a row if you want, or 3 verses, sorry. So you'll find that the word before the end, 3 times in a row, is makan, right? Each one of them means something different. So only this first one is the literal place. Makan means place. Makan qarib, a close place, meaning the land of resurrection, meaning the place where we're going to be resurrected, is close to where we're going to be judged. So they'll be taken from a very close place. They come immediately. It's not a long journey. You don't have to spend too much time. So this is the only time where the word place here in these 3 ayat actually means a literal spatial understanding of what place is. The other 2 are going to have a completely and totally different meaning. And that's some of the beauty of the Quran. Sometimes you use the same word multiple times in a completely different meaning. Okay, that's the first ayah. So you can see that the finale of Surat AlSaba is a snapshot of Yawm al-Qiyamah, another snapshot. Have we had a couple in Surat AlSaba? Yeah, we've had a few. We've had at least 3, if not, if you can probably argue that there's even 4. But we have 3 snapshots of Yawm al-Qiyamah. This last one here is one that will bring everything together for everything that we read in the surah. So we'll read the ayah after, inshallah, ayah 52. وَقَالُوا آمَنَّا بِهِ وأنى لهم التناوش من مكان بعيد وقد كفروا به من قبل ويقذفون بالغيب من مكان بعيد. وقالوا آمنا به. At that moment they will all say, we believe. We believe with whatever you guys we were talking about before. What were you talking about? That thing, yeah. So we believe in it fully. We have full faith in it. We are no longer doubt in it. We don't question it. We're on board. We're 100% ma'akum. You were guys who were talking about, this is haram and this is halal. We believe. وَقَالُوا آمَنَّا بِهِ. At that moment, of course, that's going to be the reaction. Once you see the truth in front of you and there's no questioning it anymore, you're going to say that. وَقَالُوا آمَنَّا بِهِ. And you'll see this theme in the Quran repeated, where people will, come forward Yawm al-Qiyamah with full faith, with full iman. At that point, actually, everyone has the same level of iman, similar to the level of imans of the Prophets, alayhi salatu wasalam. Of course, because there's nothing left. It's not called iman anymore, really. Iman means that there's something that is unseen that you are accepting based on that you believe in, based on your previous observations, convictions, and your rational and logical thinking that is allowing you to arrive at a conclusion. When you see it, it's not iman anymore. That's why Malaika don't really have iman in things. They only have iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because they don't have the ability to understand Him and see Him properly, or understand the essence of God. So they believe in God, because it's possible, even when you're in Jannah, we don't have the ability to understand the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so we still believe in Him, right? But we don't have to believe in Jannah anymore. Why? Because you're right in it, inshallah. You have to believe in Nar because you saw it. You don't have to believe in any of this stuff. It's right there. You believe in the Prophet. You're sitting right in front of him. There's no point of belief. Is something that there has to be some distance between you and what we're talking about, to a certain degree, where you're going to have to think about things and draw conclusions from whatever rational way of thought you're going to have. That is not, so when you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you'll still believe in Him in Jannah, because it's impossible to fully understand God Jalla Jalaluhu. But you can understand enough to experience things differently in Jannah, which is something we should all look forward to. وَقَالُوا آمَنَّا بِهِ. And they say, we believe in Him. Or this could be bihi as in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It could mean that as well. We're not sure. Or it could be bihi mean in the Prophet or in the Quran or whatever. We believe generally. وَقَالُوا آمَنَّا بِهِ وَأَنَّا لَهُمْ. The word أَنَّا لَهُمْ in Arabic is a very hurtful one. I'll give you somewhere else where this came, not in the Quran though, in the Hadith. So the Prophet ﷺ in Hadith Sahih, narrated by Imam Muslim, and there's parts of it in Bukhari as well, narrated by other scholars too. It's a very known, famous, authentic Hadith. So the Prophet ﷺ says in this one, قال خلق الله 100 رحمة. He created subhanahu wa ta'ala 100 mercies. So mercy is quantified as a thing. So this is how the hadith is kind of bringing it forward. It's looking at mercy as a figurative understanding. It's like a thing. So he got 100 mercies. Even though mercy, you can't really, I don't think you can you make it plural? I don't think you can make it plural. But that's what the Prophet said. 100 pieces of mercy or something like that. فَأَنزَلَ على الأرض منها رحمة. And he descended upon earth one of them, just one mercy when it came to the earth. فبها يتراحم الخلائق أجمعون وبها ترفع الناقة ساقها عن رضيعها وبها ترحم الأم يعني وليدها. And with this rahmah, everyone, with this one mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have compassion to one another. Even a mother camel, a she camel will make sure that she holds her foot up so she doesn't harm her newborn calf or baby. And this is the same rahmah that a mother uses to have compassion and rahmah with her. This is what the Prophet ﷺ is saying, that this one rahmah we all use, everyone use, every creature, even animals. It was the idea of the hadith, that even animals, not just human beings, they all use this rahmah. فإذا قامت الساعة رفعت هذه الرحمة إلى السماء. When this Yawm al-Qiyamah comes, that rahmah is taken back to heaven, so it's not done yet. وضمت إلى 99, and then it's added to the 99 rahmah that are left. فاكتملت بها 100, then all the 100 are there. ثم إذا حان الحساب, and then when hisab begins, when judgment begins, بسطها الله على خلقه. It is spread upon all Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. And one narration, this is why I told this hadith, because one narration has this. قال حتى لا يتطاول إبليس رغبة أن تناله رحمة الله. Until, and even Iblis, when he sees all this mercy, he kind of, maybe sits up a bit. Hopefully, maybe some of the rahmah will hit him. And then the hadith has وَأَنَّا لَهُ. But alas, it is not for him. وَأَنَّا لَهُ. أَنَّا لَهُ means that's not going to happen. Just to kind of end the conversation, it's not happening. It's not happening. Don't waste your time. It's done. So وَقَالُوا آمَنَّا بِهِ. Understand that? They said, we believe in him. خلاص, we believe. وَأَنَّا لَهُمْ. It's not happening. It's too late. Way too late. Way too late. At-tanawush is a very specific Arabic word, not really used that often in Arabic. If you take the actual root of the word, and you go and study it in the dictionary, you'll find that scholars of linguistics differed on what it actually meant or where it came from. So some of them say it came from tanawul. Tanawul is to get something or possess something or obtain something, and then the Arabs sometimes will change a letter to make the word simpler or to change a certain aspect of it, and then they added the sheen instead of a lam. I don't think that's proper. I think tanawush, because there's certain you'll find traces of the word in Arabic, in ancient Arabic poetry, and usually what it means is obtaining something easily. So tanawala, there's a cup of water. So tanawalahu means he went and he brought it. Tanawashahu means it was given to him easily, got it easily. He didn't have to put much effort into it. Like, it wasn't something that he had to work hard for. So وَأَنَّا لَهُمُ التَّنَاوُشْ, and obtaining this easily is not going to happen for them. You don't get to come Yawm al-Qiyamah and say آمَنَّا بِهِ. No, you're supposed to say it in dunya and then live the life of it, and then go through all the difficulties and trials and tests and put up with everything that comes with saying آمَنَّا بِهِ. Then you can't come and say this now. وَأَنَّ لَهُمُ التَّنَاوُشْ مِن مَكَانٍ بَعِيدٍ, and they're in such a far away place from where this is. Not place in terms of literal place, but in terms of their iman, in terms of their stories, they're in a far away place from where amanna bihi is. The word amanna bihi, and those who follow it are here. Your story took you far away place. You can't come and easily tanawush. You can't easily come and say amanna bihi and then it gets accepted. No, it's not going to happen. وَأَنَّا لَهُمُ التَّنَاوُشْ. Does that make sense? I hope I could bring this forward. It's a bit of a grammatical difficult thing to explain in Arabic, even not in English. وَأَنَّا لَهُمُ التَّنَاوُشْ. And it's not going to happen for them to obtain this easily from such a far place where they are, from where iman is. So it's not a literal distance. This guy who's saying Aman Nabi could be standing right beside one of the mu'mins. So they're not far away from it. You're just far away from it in terms of their story. Your story took you in a different direction. Your destination is totally different. Where are you hoping to be? Amanna bihi. It's a big word. That's a big deal. That costs lives. People lived all their lives holding on to the word amanna bihi, just holding on to it, trying not to lose it, going through every difficulty of life, holding on to amanna bihi and hoping that they would die, still saying amanna bihi. And when they finally die saying amanna bihi, we believe in him, then they're coming Yawm al-Qiyamah happy, and you think you can just easily come and say Yawm al-Qiyamah and be in the same place? No, your destination is far away from where this word is. You didn't put in the hours, you didn't put in the time, you didn't put in the effort, you didn't put in anything. It's not happening for you. وَقَدْ كَفَرُوا بِهِ مِنْ قَبْلِ. This is to explain my point. And they have spent the past disbelieving in this. كَفَرُوا بِهِ. They disbelieved previously in the same word. The same word that you're saying right now, you had spent all your life saying no to it. No to the consequences of it. No to the meaning of it. No to the concept of it. Now you're going to just come and say it? That's not going to happen. It's not. وَأَنَّا لَهُمُ اللَّهُ. It's a very scary word. That's all it means. Not happening. And it's a word that's used to end discussion. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using it. No, we're done. And that's why something similar to it is when Nuh alayhi salam, as the flood began, he started to, and he had this urge to talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what did he say? وَلَا تُخَاطِبْنِي فِي الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا. Don't talk to me about those who are oppressed. Don't say anything. So he quieted down. Don't talk about the oppressors. That's it. It's done. Just don't talk about it. Stop arguing for it. Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he saw the two malaika coming for Qawm Lut, for the people of Lut, he wanted to say something. Ya Ibrahim, a'rid an hada. Innahu qad ja'a amru rabbik. Oh Ibrahim, don't talk about this. Shy away from this. This is the command of your Lord has come. Just let it go. ويجادلنا في قوم لوط فلما ذهب عن إبراهيم الروع وجاءته البشرى يجادلنا في قوم لوط. And Ibrahim is trying to argue, trying to debate. Ya Rabb, maybe give them some time. Let me go talk to them myself. Maybe Lut doesn't know. Something like that. Bringing up an argument. I'll try myself. Maybe I can fix it. Don't talk about it. خلاص. وأنّا لهم تناوش. You can take something this valuable for you to live and die with the word amanna bihi as a part of who you are. You think you can just take this easily, Yawm al-Qiyamah, by saying it Yawm al-Qiyamah, suddenly it's going to be accepted from you? No. Anna lahum. That's not happening. No. Look at these people. They lived and died with amanna bihi. This meant a lot. This was a lifelong story of generations of difficulty, of hardship, of perseverance. And min makanin ba'id, and your story is so far away. Once you come for hisab, it'll be clear to you that you're not. وَقَدْ كَفَرُوا بِهِ مِنْ قَبْلِ. They had spent all their lives before disbelieving in this. وَيَقْذِفُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. Here's an interesting. يَقْذِف is to project, right, or to draw conclusions. These are the concept of qadf. At least from a figurative perspective. Whenever the word qadf is used, that's what it means. And that's why إِنَّ رَبِّي يَقْذِفُ بِالْحَقِّ. Right? He projects only the truth. So sometimes qadf can mean actually throwing something, like throwing a stone or something like that. But that's a literal usage of it, or it's a more materialistic one. Qadf is also used for someone who speaks ill of a woman's integrity. And it's called specifically qadf. If I talk about your integrity ill, it's not qadf, you're a man. But if I speak of a woman's integrity and her dignity, and I speak of it in an ill way, it's called qadf. And this is haram. Actually, it's not just haram, this is socially punishable in Islam. It's interesting, this kind of concept to kind of keep in the back of your mind. In Islam, there are socially punishable sins. Yes, go ahead.
Is it mentioned as qadf in the Quran?
So not the same word. If you go to... there's something similar to it. I can't remember if the actual word is not used. I don't think so, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure. But if you go to the beginning of Surat An-Nur, which is where this is kind of this is argued proper, in a bit more detail, they use the word yarmun. Sorry. They use the word yarmun a bit more. Yarmun al-muhsanat. So the word yarmi is used a bit more. I'm not sure if the word qadf is used, to be honest, or not. It could be. I have to look that up, to be honest, to be sure. I'm not 100% sure. But the word yarmi is used much more for the same idea. But the word qadf is used by the Prophet ﷺ in the hadith. So that's where we have that's the origin of the actual usage of the word. But but it's not so the word is used many times in the Quran, but he's just talking, is it used for to refer to a man speaking ill of a woman's dignity? I'm not sure if it's used in the Quran, to be honest. I never actually looked into that, but I'll try and see, because maybe, may not. The word yarmun al-muhsanat al-ghafilat al-mu'minat is used many times. But here, what was I saying? Yes, so qadf is one of the socially punishable sins in Islam. There are very few socially punishable sins, meaning something that you'll be punished in a social manner, where you'll be lashed, or a hand will be chopped off, or a head will be chopped off, or you'll be some social sin that people will witness. So one of the sins that will be socially punishable is if a man or even a woman speaks ill of the dignity of another woman. So if you go ahead and say, well, I think she committed zina, or just something like that, you say that, now you've subjected yourself to actual social punishment. You could be lashed 80 lashes, and this is in the Quran, this is in Surah An-Nur. So
whether it's true or not?
Whether it's true or not, if you say it, unless you have 4 witnesses, and these witnesses have to be people of high merit within the society. So, shuyukh and judges and doctors and teachers and people who have full. It can't be teenagers, and it can't be people who have bad, people who are quite, and they have to actually see what happened. They can't have heard of it. They can't. One person told the other 3, and the other 3 now, no. They actually have to see the action. They can't have heard anything. So you can't say, oh, I heard noises. No, noises don't mean anything. You have to actually see the action. You can't see a video either. You have to actually see what's going on, right? So if 4 people haven't seen it, and you go ahead and you say it, then that's a had. I'll give you an example. Umar al-Khattab saw 2 people committing zina one day, and he was Amir al-Mu'mineen at the time. He was the Khalifa. So he saw it, and he lost his mind. He came running to Ali. قَالَ رَأَيْتُ زَانِيَيْنِ I saw two people committing zina. And as he was speaking, before he was able to say the second word, Ali ibn Abi Talib, who was the chief, Supreme Court's chief justice, whatever at the time, قال أربعة معك أو حد في ظهرك. Are there 4 with you? Are there another 3? Sorry, ثلاثة معك وأربعة. You have to have 4 together, or حد في ظهرك, or you're going to be lashed right now. So don't say the names, because if you say the names, you don't have 3 people. حد في ظهرك right now. I'm going to lash you now. قال فسكت عمر. So in another narration, فقال عمر يا علي رأيتهما بعيني. I saw them with my eyes. قال شهود معك. I can't remember what exactly the wording was. Have the witnesses with you. أو حد في ظهرك يا أمير المؤمنين. And he used the word يا أمير المؤمنين. Oh Khalifa, oh أمير المؤمنين. أحد في ظهرك. Your back will be lashed. Yes.
Do you know any reasoning for the 4 witnesses? Like the reason?
I don't know why 4, but it's obviously the idea here is that this is public fornication, not private fornication. It's a difference between public zina and private zina. Private zina, when if you were to go and remove a curtain in order to see it, then you would be lashed as well, because you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to actually, well, I opened the door and I peeked in. No, no, no. It has to be in a place where you were just going by your business and you saw zina. So this is public zina. That's what's socially punishable. It's not private. Not to say that private zina is not haram. It is haram. And Yawm al-Qiyamah you will carry it. Do not misunderstand what I just said right here. This is very important that today you understand this properly. It is just as haram as, but public zina is what is socially punishable. Meaning public zina has a punishment Yawm al-Qiyamah and in dunya. Private zina is something that the punishment happens Yawm al-Qiyamah. It ruins society just the same, but it's not socially punishable. Understanding the difference here, so it has to be something that is seen publicly, and of course, there's a lot of wisdom in that as well. That what these, and of course, this is a whole different conversation. That the reason that we have these rulings in Islam is to preserve society. You don't, of course, have these punishments in a society that doesn't believe that zina is haram to begin with. So if you were to implement these rulings now, they would do nothing at all. They would cause they would just cause riots, and people would kill each other. Nothing would happen. No benefit would come from it, even if it was strictly because people still believe that zina is okay here. So the way you would implement, when you would implement something like this, is in a society that believes zina is haram, and everyone believes it, or the majority of them people believe it, and then you would implement a strict ruling like this. Why? So that we would make sure that we hold on to these values. These values aren't touched. So if you're in a society that does not see stealing, for example, to be a big deal, meaning shoplifting is a normal thing, everyone seems to do whenever they can, they don't mind taking mal haram, then chopping hands off isn't going to fix the problem. You have to come to a society that has already holified or appreciate the sanctity of other people's possessions. I mean, they will not touch another person's possession, and they believe in the importance of the hurma of sariqah and the sanctity of people's wealth. And then if you implement this law, it will hold on to this to the value of the society, and so on and so forth. So when you come in, you try to fix a social problem with a had. That tells me you don't understand how Islam works. You don't fix social problems by bringing strict punishments. No, you change mentalities. And once you change mentality and the way people think, then you implement the strict rules, and then you will hold on to that. So if you have drug dealing in the world, then bringing in strict rulings won't make it any different. That's why everyone, against their will, are legalizing all these substances. They don't have a choice. It's not like they want to. They're forced to, because they thought that with strict rulings like killing people and putting them in jail is going to fix the problem. It's not going to fix the problem. Why? Because the majority of people have no problem with drugs. Socially, it's acceptable. At school, that's what you want to do. You're looking for pot. You're looking for maybe if there's something a bit stronger as well. You're okay with it. It's socially an acceptable idea. If it's socially acceptable, strict rules won't fix the problem. You need to change the way people think. I'll give you an example. This is an example you all know, and it'll be very clear to you. Tobacco, dukhan. For years and years and years, smoking, you had strict rules and taxing, and it didn't work. And the majority of people smoked. How did they bring down the percentage of people smoking in the world? By stopping the ads and by putting ads against it. And they changed the mentality of people, and then smoking came down. So it's not rulings that will fix the problem, it's the people's way of thought. Now it's frowned upon in society. You smoke. Poor you. Miskeen, wallah. You smoke, you still smoke, you still do that stupid thing, you still putting cancer into your cells. That's your choice. So this is how we see it. And because of that's easy to fix the problem. If you put strict rules now, then people will actually follow, and there are strict rules now and people follow it, and it's there. But if we don't have that, the mentality is still, this is a good thing. Today, marijuana, the mentality of marijuana, it's awesome. If you're watching, if you're keeping up with media, and it's the best thing ever. It's like it will cure everything from wallahi, I've seen that marijuana is the cure for everything in the world. Anything you have, whatever disease you have, just smoke pot and you're gonna be fine. And there's a mentality that it's khayr, and those who are against it are the people who are bigots and racists and the people who hate. So putting rulings and putting laws isn't going to fix it. You need to change the mentality that this is not well, and so on and so forth. Really. I don't know why I went on that rant, but that's basically I don't know why. I have no idea how this is not subhanallah. Yeah, I don't know how you went from this. Anyways, so going back to the word yaqdhif, this was completely irrelevant to the surah, or maybe not, because it's a social surah and we talked about this before. But I just want I need to kind of keep that idea in the mind of everyone. Yes.
For like the public fornication.
Yes.
It seems kind of weird for actually people to do that.
Yeah, of course. Imagine how twisted the person has to be to actually do it in public for four respected people of the society. You see it with their own eyes, understand? So Islam is not interested in going to people's lives, into their homes and exposing them. No. Islam's problem is if you're doing it publicly and you have no haya at all, you have no shame, you have no respect for society whatsoever, and you're trying to destroy the values of society by doing something like that in front of people, that's not okay. So that's the focus of
people did at that time. Like people was this?
No, it wasn't something that was widespread. No, not at all. No, this is, again, it wasn't something that was widespread at all. Actually, we have very few incidents in Islamic history of this actually ever being implemented. Like very few times this is ever implemented. But again, this is a very large topic that we can't cover today. So going back to the word I was trying to explain, وَيَقْذِفُونَ is to project. Sometimes it's used literally, and most of the time it's used figuratively. So sometimes it's used when you speak ill of a lady's dignity. And here, يَقْذِفُونَ is projecting conclusions. It's uttering a conclusion, coming to a conclusion, whether you have the proper evidence for it or not. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He projects conclusions. يَقْذِفُ بِالْحَقِّ with righteousness, and He has the right ability to do. Why? Because He's عَلَّامُ الْغُيُوبِ, because He knows all. But what they did, يَقْذِفُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ, they projected conclusions upon the unseen, upon something they had no knowledge of whatsoever. مِن مَكَانٍ بَعِيدٍ, and they were in such a place, such a far away place from where this was. Again, not in space, but in knowledge. They were so far away. The distance between their knowledge and where ghaib was so far, and they're projecting conclusions, saying, oh, there's no this and there's that, and what you're saying, and they're just making things up as they go along. You have no evidence of what you're talking about. You don't know ghaib. You don't have the knowledge of the unseen. Why are you projecting conclusions? Why are you saying all this stuff? This is talking about those who said on the Day of Judgment, "Amanna bihi," and that's not going to happen for them. They're not going to get this easily. And their stories are so far away from it, and they disbelieved in it beforehand, and they spent their lives projecting conclusions on ghaib with no evidence at all from a far away place from where it actually was. It's not going to happen. وَيَقْذِفُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ مِن مَكَانٍ بَعِيدٍ. I think it's a very interesting phrase. When you throw a conclusion forward, when you come up with something you don't have the evidence for, you don't know what you're talking about, you have nothing to support what you're saying. It's just, you're just making things up as you go along. And you have no knowledge. So let's read the last ayah of the surah, inshallah. وَحِيلَ بَيْنَهُمْ وَبَيْنَ مَا يَشْتَهُونَ كَمَا فُعِلَ بِأَشْيَاعِهِمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا فِي شَكٍّ مُرِيبٍ. So وَحِيلَ بَيْنَهُمْ, حِيلَ is when a border or a barrier, is put between something and something else. حَالَ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ مُبْتَغَاهُ mean he was the barrier between him and what he wanted to get. وَحِيلَ بَيْنَهُم mean a barrier was put in place between them, between these people who said it at that moment, and وَبَيْنَ مَا يَشْتَهُونَ, and between what they desired at that moment. What did they desire at that moment? They desired for the word Aman Nabi to be accepted from them, so they can go to Jannah, because they see all the other people being taken there. But no, a barrier was put between them and between what they desired. كما فعل بأشياعهم من قبل, just like we did to the ashya', are those of the same kind. The word and from it comes the root Shia. Shi'at Rasulullah means those who are of his kind, meaning those who are from his family, really. So today the word is more political and sectarian based. Actually in Arabic what it means is the family of the Prophet ﷺ. But the word's been ruined basically for all of us. We can't use it anymore. But the word Shia is actually a very beautiful, important word. It's in the Quran. It's not in the Quran in the same way that it's been used today, but it's always used as the concept of the family of, or those who are of the same kind or similar to. So كَمَا فُعِلَ بِأَشْيَاعِهِمْ, just like it was done to those who are of the same kind, those who did the same thing like them before them, مِن قَبْلِ. Those who said the same thing before them, we did the same thing to them. We put a barrier between them and what they desired. Why? إِنَّهُمْ, indeed they were كَانُوا فِي شَكٍّ مُرِيبٍ. They were in a severe state of doubt. They lived their life in a state of doubt. There's a very scary last verse. Shak. You remember if you go back a bit, I just want to go back to ayah number 20 and 21. I talked about this like a bit extensively at that point. Where I told you where the ayah says, وَلَقَدْ صَدَّقَ عَلَيْهِمْ إِبْلِيسُ ظَنَّهُ فَاتَّبَعُوهُ إِلَّا فَرِيقًا مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Indeed, Iblis is his expectations were made true or came true, except upon a few of the believers, and everyone followed him except a few of the believers. وَمَا كَانَ لَهُ عَلَيْهِمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. He never had any control over those who followed him. إِلَّا لِنَعْلَمَ. And the only reason he was given the ability to do waswasa and to actually interfere with your faith was for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to differentiate مَن يُؤْمِنُ بِالْآخِرَةِ, those who believe in the last day, مِمَّنْ هُوَ مِنْهَا فِي شَكٍّ, in comparison to those who have doubt in it. So the problem with belief is not that you believe or don't believe, is do you believe fully or are you in doubt? Oh, I believe 99%, so you have doubt. Yeah, so you're a part of the doubt group. Usually in Islam it's always the opposite. If you have a bit of khayr, that's good enough. Not here. Not in the belief of akhirah. Not in the belief in the day of judgment. No, you can't have any doubt here. It has to be a 100% deal, or else it's not going to do its job when things matter. When things matter, you're going to need full belief in the day of judgment, or else it's going to add up to nothing. So the last ayah, so you see how the surah is very well connected. Like every concept of it comes together. So the last word in the surah is that a barrier was put between them and what they desire, just like it happened to the people, just exactly what happened to the people who were similar to them in the past. Indeed, they lived in a state of severe. Murib, severe, is just another synonym to shak, to doubt. So when they come together, it means severe doubt. They were in a doubtful situation all their lives. Just.
When we think about it, there is a chronological order. Would it be within the day of Qiyamah, or would it be like Fir'aun on when his soul was being?
Yeah, so the same thing. Yeah, so Yawm al-Qiyamah, the people who are being judged, who are being spoken to here, the people of the Prophet ﷺ's time in our times, they're going to get exactly what the people before us who were earlier in terms of judgment.
When حيل بينهم وبين ما يشتهون, like Fir'aun حيل بينه وبين ما يشتهي when he was dying.
Exactly the same thing. So we said amanna bihi, right? The same thing. So you can draw a parallel to that as well. So the exact same idea. Yeah, exactly. That's a very good analogy actually. Fir'aun said it at a time when it wasn't accepted. The same thing. It wasn't accepted from him. So that's the finale of Surat AlSaba. It kind of draws you a picture. Coming out of the grave, you're in panic. No one's left, and everyone's taken to their judgment from a very close place. And those who never believed in it say, I believe in it. But it's not going to happen for them. They're not going to easily get this, and their stories have led them in a completely different direction. And they lived all their lives disbelieving in it, and they projected their doubts and their misled information upon ghaib that they had no information of from a distant, ignorant place. So they're going to have barriers between them and what they desire Yawm al-Qiyamah. Just like all those before them had the same problem, because they lived their lives in severe doubt. It's a very scary ending of the surah, because we don't know. Do you have doubt? Are you still doubtful? Have you achieved a certain level of iman? If you haven't, go back to ayah number 46. قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَعِظُكُمْ بِوَاحِدَةٍ. You're given one piece of advice. Just go and take your time and come to the conclusion, so you can live your life the way He told you to live, subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can live it openly with an open heart, because you don't have doubt anymore, or else you're not going to make it. You're going to fall. It's just a matter of time. The clock is ticking. It'll just happen at some point with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I'll end with that, inshallah. I find Surat AlSaba to be very beautiful. I may do a summary of it next time. The next week I'm not here, as I said. The week after that we may do a summary of it, and I may start with Fatir immediately, depending on our time. So we'll finish at 9, as I said. I do have an issue. You can turn this off at this point. Yeah, turn it off. So, jazakallah khair.